Welcome, everybody, to Storer's Edge AI in Renewables, our podcast where we explore the cutting edge intersection of artificial intelligence and renewable energy with those leaders who are shaping our sustainable future. I'm your host, Stuart Storrer, and today I'm really thrilled to be joined by Dr. Stephan Beyer, Chief Financial Officer at Dryad Networks. Now, Stephan is a serial entrepreneur and an engineer who combines over 20 years of experience in finance, technology, and crisis management. At Dryad Networks, he's helping to revolutionise wildfire prevention through their groundbreaking Internet of Trees, an AI-powered IoT network that can detect wildfires within minutes using solar-powered gas sensors. With wildfires becoming increasingly devastating due to climate change, Dryad's SilverNet technology represents a crucial innovation in environmental protection. Using artificial intelligence to analyse gases and environmental conditions for ultra-early fire detection. Stephan's unique background as both a tech entrepreneur and financial strategist makes him perfectly positioned to discuss how AI-driven environmental solutions can scale to meet global challenges. Stephan, welcome to Storer's Edge.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the program.
So, Stephan, I've read that you describe yourself as a serial entrepreneur by heart and an engineer by education. Could you take us right back to the beginning? What first sparked your interest in tech and entrepreneurship?
Oh, it really started right from my studies here at the Technical University in Berlin. I started off as 15 years in venture capital, sort of investing in tech companies, and it's always been my goal to, take technology and build it around into a global company. So I think that's what's been really interesting me, and that's what I've been doing as a venture capitalist, and then also 10 years ago, I started my career as an entrepreneur with funding a 3D printing company, another one in automotive, and then now Dryad really is my third mission. And wildfires is a global challenge that we're all facing, and hence we need to build a global company to fight that challenge and making sure we're reducing CO2 emissions, but equally also trying to make an impact by reducing wildfires.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Dryad Networks. For our listeners who might not be familiar, could you explain what the Internet of Trees concept is and how that works?
Yes, absolutely. What we're doing is in essence, we're extracting data from the natural world, so trees, from the forest. So in order to do that, we're using sensors, and here's the sensor that I'm showing. It's a small device that you can hang on a tree. It's powered with the solar cell. It also builds its own network. It's like a Wi-Fi network. But inside the sensors, we're having an edge computing device, and there's just a little bit of AI running on top of it that helps identify if there's any incidents happening in the forest. So this is why we call it the Internet of Trees, because we got the sensors on the trees detecting if there is, for instance, a fire, but also we can add multiple detecting sensors on this device that will also help identify other incidents, for instance, soil moisture measurement, or if there's chainsaws, or if there's, gunshots, or, people in nature. So it's really versatile technology, which uses a lot of AI in order to make that distinction whether if it's, if there's an incident or not. So that's one element. And also all those data is going through our network, which is the LoRaWAN technology, onto our cloud platform. And on the cloud platform, we are running machine learning algorithms that help us also do things like prediction, wildfire prediction, for instance. Also running analysis and giving back reports to our customers so they understand what is the situation out there in the forest, what is the situation out there with my assets that I have in nature. Are they well protected? Are they in healthy status? Is there something that I need to do spontaneously or long term in order to mitigate the climate risk that this infrastructure is being exposed to?
Wow. So it does a lot more than just detect fires.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's another element that I like to highlight is that yes, we always talk about the detection, right, for wildfire within a few minutes, and it happens within 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe. But what are we going to do about it? So we need to react and respond to the fires, and this is we call this have a guard. That's a second, I think, core element to the wildfire protection that we're doing. It's a drone-based system. So we're actually combining our detection technology and the AI with a suppression system. Because we know where is the fire, what's the scale of the fire, what's the nature of the incidents maybe, and then we can send an observation drone to that spot that's fully autonomous. So it's all automated system, but we also can, and this is something that we're working on currently, and that we're testing as a suppression system. So it's another drone that will fly, fire retardant liquids or just water maybe to that spot to take out the fire. And that is what we, from our point of view, complete system that will then help to fully autonomously and fully automated, help suppress and fight wildfires.
Wow. How do you see AI technology in the environmental monitoring evolving over the next few years? What capabilities are you sort of getting excited about, maybe looking forwards?
Oh, I think AI is really the key technology here. So we're using it, like I said, in the sensors for detection. Because I'll give you a simple example. So when you're in a forest, every forest smells a little bit differently, and this is exactly what the AI is doing. Is making that distinction. It enables us really to understand whether there's a fire or not a fire. And every fire burns a little bit different because the organic material is a little bit different. So this is where you need the AI for in order to enable this the complete system. But then also when we look at the more of a long term, when like I talked about the platform. It's okay to respond, but we want to understand also what is it that we can do long term. And to understand what's going on in nature. And that's only possible if we're extracting that data, and we're really, with our network in our detection, we're able to procure data that nobody else has, because there's no source of data from the nature. Yeah? And we're combining this data with other sources of data, and this can be visual data, like, let's say, camera systems or satellite system, but this can also be third-party data, say, weather information, and all kinds of other data that may be publicly available. And through that combination of the data, we're able to learn and understand much more what's going on in nature, what can we do about it, how can we respond, how can we predict incidences, what is it that we can actively do. So it's actually, in a way, helping us to become very active and do something before a wildfire happens, so to prevent it right from the start, even before there's a spark of ignition.
Okay, so a couple of questions pop into my head. First of all, do you get many false alarms? Do you get sort of...
Yeah, that's a very important KPI for us. So what we call the false positive rate is extremely low, and this is only possible due to AI. We didn't have the AI running on the sensors. It would be very high, maybe, I don't know, 50%. And this is actually what's the problem with other systems, or visual inspection systems and other systems, is they can't really know 100% if there's an incidence or not. But because it's a chemical sensor, what we're using, we can tell, right? And the false positive rate that we're encountering is less than 1%. So, and this is only possible through AI.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Very, very low then. And the other question that popped in my head, so it sounds like you're capturing an enormous amount of data, quite a spectrum of data. Are you able to commercialize all of that data?
That's what we're doing. Yeah, that's the
So
strategy.
what is your business model? Are you selling sensors and providing monitoring services, or working on on a subscription basis? What is the model? What's your approach to the model?
Yeah, yeah. So what we're doing is, I mean, actually both what you're mentioning. So we do sell. Some of our customers choose for budget reasons to buy the hardware. So we sell the hardware, we deploy the hardware together with partners, and you have to just keep in mind that one of the sensors is designed to stay on the tree for 10 years. So there's really no maintenance except for maybe some over-the-air upgrades that we're doing on the network. So it's there to stay, and then it has the benefits. And so what we're doing is we're then supporting our customers with additional services. There's maintenance services, obviously, with over-the-air updates. There's also additional services from your learning and combining with other data sources that are very customer specific. They're very unique and have a high value for our customers. So that's also what we're doing. That's what we're selling to the end customer in a subscription model. Then, so it can be a combination of selling the hardware with a subscription model, or sometimes our customers also opt to also lease the hardware from us. So it's a fully subscription model there.
Okay. So in terms of customers, I would imagine sort of forest management companies would be a key customer. What other customer groups would you be working with?
Yeah, so we typically make a distinction between four customer groups. I think the most important one is the one you mentioned, forestry companies, everybody who owns forest, and this can be a broad range, from typical owners just of forest, also to commercial forest like pulpwood plantations, for instance. And other, expensive wood, where there's a value that we can attach to forest. This is where the system makes a lot of sense. The other thing is, I think, big box for us is critical infrastructure. There's a lot of critical infrastructure that is being operated in nature. So think about pipelines. So the oil and gas industry is a big customer of us because they do operate, pipelines, terminals, all kinds of very expensive assets and infrastructure in an environment that's being exposed to climate risk. So that's another one. And think about also, telecommunication companies. Think about energy companies who are operating power lines. Then there's also, water utilities operating, big basins. So all those kinds of infrastructure and assets that are really critical for us as a society, they all need protection, and they all need that level of data to better protect them and prevent any kinds of incidences that could happen to them because they're out there in the natural world.
Okay. I would imagine probably insurance companies as well would be a key target.
Oh, absolutely. That's another group.
Yeah.
That's another group.
Yeah.
So there's insurance companies who especially want to understand data-based what is going on in the natural world and what is their risk exposure because they're insuring assets and infrastructure, for instance, and houses. I mean, we had the situation in California at the beginning of the year. It was, as a matter of fact, and it's a bit sad also that there's never going to be a fire insurance again in those areas that were fire prone in California because they're just not going to do it. But we can help mitigate the risk of the situation a little bit by making insurance company understand really what is the risk that they're being exposed to, and then if they understand the risk, they can price it and offer fire insurance again. That's one of our goals. And then there's obviously a fourth group of customers that we're having is like municipalities and communities that want to protect their their environments, their homes, in the community from fire.
Okay. So obviously, you're looking at a global marketplace
Yeah.
for this product. So from a regulatory standpoint, how do you navigate the different countries' requirements for forest monitoring, for example, and emergency response systems? Is that really challenging for you?
Well, if we're just looking at the forest and fire, there's typically not much regulation around it. So this is why also the sector is quite interesting to us. So it's this is different in other sectors. So in the oil and gas industry or other industries, the more industry types, there's more regulation in place that we have to comply with. But if you just look at the forestry, there's very little to no regulation. So that's really helping us also to scale globally. So nonetheless, we obviously always being very carefully when implementing systems that if there is any regulations that we comply.
Okay. And I'm fascinated in terms of the intersection of AI, IoT, and the environmental protection element of that. This is all I think relatively new. Certainly, it is to me. So, what are the biggest sort of technical challenges that you're still looking to overcome or need to be solved going forwards?
Yeah. So. We're a learning organization, obviously, and we're rolling this out. So we start off with the wildfire protection as our, say, poster child use case, but we also see other use cases. So actually, what we're doing is, as you see here on the sensor, there is it's like what we call the electronic nose, and we're adding more and more capabilities to our sensors. So that is a technological challenge. And the question is, what is it that the market really demands and wants from us? So we're trying to work very closely with our customers to understand what is the need, what is it that they require in order to protect their assets and the forest. So that's one challenge that we're always facing as we're growing over a global market space. Then obviously, and this is things that I think we've solved in the past. That overcome the technological challenge of operating a network infrastructure in the forest. So it's an environment where you can't go there and just upgrade it. So that needs to be fixed. And also there is, if we just talk technology here for a second, there is a limitation to the energy budget that's available in a sensor because it's solar powered. That's another one.
Yep.
And then the network itself. These sensors are also able to talk to a satellite directly. So establishing that satellite connectivity, that's another technological challenge. But I think they're but those are things that we have, that we're mastering, and I think that most of them have been solved and will be continue solving now, optimizing them. So it's a fully industrialized product at this stage. But I think the most exciting part when I look at technology is actually the AI part. What is it? And when we own this data, nobody has this data. So what can we do with it? And how can we create more value and more benefit to our customers and the community? Because we're an impact company. We want to do something good about it. We want to get rid of wildfires as much as we can. So that is the learning curve that we have ahead of us. I think we got good ideas and good strategies in place. But now, since we're collecting all the data, and we need to make sure we're turning this into benefits and value.
Sure. So, what's the biggest misconception that people have about AI-powered environmental monitoring?
I think the biggest misconception is that it's already completely available and we're able to understand everything as of today. I think most of the benefits and values still lie ahead of us and have not yet been explored. So I think that's one thing. Also, we need to understand that this is a technology that is being rolled out. It's new. It's a new technology. So we're finding it very important that we work very closely with our customers so that we help them understand what the technology does and what is not possible with the technology. So managing the expectations very carefully is extremely important. I know that there's a lot of promises sometimes out there that, where you like, for instance, you look from a 20,000 kilometers above and you take a picture and you know everything what's going on in the forest. You don't.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not possible, technologically not possible, and that is creating expectations that are not realistic.
Uh-huh. So, looking ahead, in terms of your future vision and the expansion of Dryad Networks, what is your sort of roadmap? What new capabilities or new markets are you most excited about in the future?
Yeah, so I think the capabilities is really through our cloud platform and the fact that now we are able, we're on an industrial level able to collect the data. Now that's the exciting part. Now, what are we going to do with it? So that's one thing. That's. But then also, if we talk about the applications, wildfire is extreme. We want to see this actually work. We're now implementing a few large projects across the world, and we want to see them work and see the benefits. Actually demonstrate that it has an impact. So that's one. And then obviously, like I said, the forestry is one thing, but also other assets in infrastructure like oil and gas or power lines, etc., we want to deploy in those industries. So, and this is sort of what's ongoing. As much as the company is, but also the technology is at a stage where it can now be deployed and it can now scale. Yeah. For instance, for us, what's important at this stage are our customers market in Southeast Asia, where we're seeing a lot of fires at this stage. Also Australia, where there's just now the fire season is about to start, and it has a great impact. If you're in Australia, if you've seen the bushfires there, it's just devastation, on at a large scale, and we need to do something about it. And the people in Australia know that something needs to happen here, and so we find very fertile grounds and great level of cooperation and willingness to adapt a new technology at this stage. And then later on, we will be looking into opportunities in South America and North America.
Exciting times, Stephan. For any of our listeners who are interested in environmental technology or considering careers in this space, what skills or knowledge areas would you recommend that they focus on?
So, if we talk about technology, I think it's network technologies. It's the satellite connectivity that's very important, but for sure everything that's related to AI. And the challenge really, and I said that is really the exciting part is now, what are we going to do now? How can we really create that impact? And we always need people also to help us roll out those projects on a global scale, and it just needs the best talent that we can find in order for our vision to become a reality. Yeah, and since this is a global challenge, we need to respond and become a global company. We're at the very early stages here, so we act global. Like I said, we're in Southeast Asia, we're in Australia, we're in Southern Europe, but there's so much more that we can do and that we want to do, and that just requires the best people to help us do this, join the company, where there's so many roles that are going to be open in the future. So, we find, people who want to do something good and apply the technology and create some impact. That's the best talent.
Thank you.
Great motivator.
Yeah, thank you. Well, and what would be the most important message that you'd like to give to leave for our audience about the role of AI and technology in addressing environmental challenges?
So I think we need to be aware that climate change is not going to go away. There is impact, and the impact is enormous. So we need to act now. And I think the response we can give as society and community and entrepreneurs needs to come from technology. The technology is available now. We just need to push the boundaries of the technology further, and then we will have an impact that will help, save the planet and save society.
Thank you. So, Stephan, I'm sure there are lots of listeners who are keen to find out more about your organisation, maybe even touch base with yourself. If they want to do that, how can they get in touch with yourself or the company?
Oh, it's very easy. Feel free to send me an email. And like I said, we're mission-driven companies. We're looking for people who are also mission-driven, meet with other people that share our vision.
Thank you. Stephan, this has been absolutely fascinating. Your work at Dryad Networks represents exactly, I think, the kind of innovation and thinking that we need to address climate challenges. Combining the cutting-edge AI, the IoT technology, and the environmental science to create real-world solutions that can prevent catastrophic fires. The concept of the Internet of Trees and the ultra early fire detection within minutes rather than hours can be, I think, genuinely transformative for forest protection worldwide. It's inspiring to see how your background as both an engineer and a serial entrepreneur is being applied to such a critical environmental challenge. So for our listeners who want to learn more about Dryad Networks and the SilverNet wildfire detection system, as Stephan has said, you can visit the website and of course you connect with Stephan through email, as he said. Thank you so much for joining us on Storer's Edge, Stephan. Keep up the incredible work in protecting our forests and fighting climate change through technology. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Storer's Edge. If you enjoy this conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with others who are passionate about the intersection of AI and environmental sustainability. Until next time, this is Stuart Storrer reminding you to stay on the edge of innovation. Thank you again to Stephan.
Thanks, Stuart, for having me. It was a great pleasure being on the program.
Thank you so much. And goodbye, everybody. Thank you.